I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, we are talking about a fantastic book that'll take you to a different land, a different time, a different place. It follows the story of a little girl. Her name is Rain, and she is 10 years old when her parents are killed in a fire, and she seeks refuge in the jungles of Colombia. It is quite an adventure, and it is written by quite an author. Her name is Abigayle Ellen, and we are delighted to have her join us here today on Spotlight to talk about her novel, Rain. Abigayle, thank you so much for talking with us today.
Hi, Logan.
Good to see
Um,
you.
Good to see you.
Tell the audience a little bit
I'm
about your book and how you got inspired to write about Rain.
um well, I was inspired by um there's a place, Kitchen Kippy, in Manistee, Michigan. Um it's really old, and there's a raft that goes across a big spring, and it's surrounded by trees, and it has fallen trees in the water, and you can see all the way down. It's gorgeous, and it just made me think of Native Americans, and I wanted to come up with a book or a story that no one's done before. And so I did a lot of research into the indigenous tribes of Colombia, and this little girl is supposed to be the last of them in the early 20th century.
Wonderful.
Um,
It's a great setting. I mean, we don't know that much about Colombia. For many people, it's kind of an uncharted land. The jungle, of course, a little girl alone in the jungle. Well, she has a friend, so she's not quite alone. But tell the audience a little bit about her adventure. Her parents are killed in a fire first, correct?
yeah. Um, Her parents play important roles in their community, and that's why they're killed by the antagonist. And a couple of years down the road, when she is living with her aunt, he finds out that she is alive, and her friend Cabello have to run into the jungle and find a place for her to live. So she spends her vital day, and they, you know, loved each other from the beginning, but they slowly come to realize that over time. And she has great adventures because of her curiosity, and there's a lot of unusual animals in that part of the country. Um,
What most people would
uh,
be afraid of, she embraces it and considers it an oasis, right?
yeah, there's a lot of people um like their solidarity, and she's didn't ever see herself as one of those people, I think, but I think books kind of write themselves sometimes. But
Yeah.
um she when she finds herself alone on this oasis where everything just happens to be exactly how she would imagine an oasis to be, she um just falls in love with the place. You kind of want to know how how things in nature always work out so perfectly for her and everything, but that comes to light eventually. And yeah,
Absolutely. Well,
it's
it's a wonderful tale. When did you write this? Do you write in the morning? Do you write at night? Did you write it all at once? Did you write it over a number of weeks or days or months or years? Tell me a little bit about the writing process.
um I started out in college when I was 19. and I'm 33 now. Um, and I've worked on it off and on. Um, and then when I was 27, I got divorced and was in a self finding myself kind of
Hmm.
situation where I just ended up writing this and spent 17 hours a day for 3 months at my computer writing it all down, and then I've been working on it since then, like molding it to make it exactly what I want, and still kind of doing that, but
Well, it's a
getting
labor of
close.
love. You obviously love the character, you love the subject. Now, you write about Colombia as if you've been there. Have you ever been to Colombia?
No,
Okay. I think you
no,
need to
just
put
don't
that on the
want.
bucket list, right? And check out this
Yes,
region that you write about. I'm sure you're curious about it, right?
very. I have a lot of research done though,
Yeah,
but yeah, I
absolutely.
love it.
Yeah, well, you can tell in your writing, you really paint a picture that feels very, very real, like you've been there. So I was curious, knowing that you're based in the States, whether you'd been there or not. But it's a wonderful story. Are you thinking about writing more chapters to this or more follow-up books, I guess, sequels?
Oh, yes. At least two more. Um, maybe three. I've I guess it's all the book that's for sale now on Amazon is the whole story, but I've
Mhm.
broken it up now so that there's going to be one story and then three more after that tell the whole thing. But
Wonderful.
that's going to be a little bit different.
Yeah,
Like all of it's going
absolutely.
to be the same story, just a little different.
I think you should write a book named Rain, Wind, Fire, Ice. Any inspiration there?
Actually, I really love the intro
Hmm.
of the book, so I took little things of that, and the first one I was going to say called Trees Whisper, and the next one Flowers Sleep, and the next one uh Storms Thunder, I think.
Hmm. Nice.
I had to think about it.
They're intriguing. I love it. Now, if you were to make this into a movie or a series, have you thought about that at all? Like, who would it star? And, tell me a little bit about the little screenplay you have in your mind for this. You must have a little inkling that you'd like to do something like that.
Yeah, I could see it being a movie. I'm a little concerned about that happening only because I don't want somebody to just turn it into something completely different than what it is, because it has a lot of symbolism that I don't
Mhm.
want to be taken away from it. Somebody would have to really understand it to capture what I'm trying to do.
You want somebody to
But
stay true to the culture in this area and true to the symbolism that you talk about. I think that's very noble. And I think that's part of the beauty of the book. So I think if anybody had any sense when crafting this into a screenplay, they would definitely include that.
hope so. I mostly want it to be an audible thing.
Yeah,
um, Somebody from Colombia reading it, maybe
that sounds
bring
great.
it to life.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be wonderful to hear it as well as read it. Sounds great. And tell me a little bit about the journey as you go ahead. Where do you see this book taking you? You're just going to, have you written any more of the sequels yet, or are they still up here?
No, um it's kind of a the series is going to be just the book that's published broken up into three or four different
Hmm.
um books, but I also want to do little stories of the characters, um, like Cabela's parents and how they met, and Green's parents and how they met, and just her mom and her story, and her dad and his story, and they all have very fascinating stories.
I'm sure.
And yeah, so they all come together in this series, but so it's a kind of a collection that all goes together.
Sounds
Um,
great. Well, it's quite a book. It is called Rain. It is by Abigayle Ellen. It's available on Amazon. You can purchase the physical copy of the book or download it on Kindle like I did. It's a book you'll want to read. It's a book you'll savor. It is a wonderful adventure of a spirited young lady who takes on life with con mucho gusto, as we like to say. Thank you so much for joining us here today, Abigayle.
yeah, thank you very much.
It's our pleasure. And to the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time on Spotlight.